Good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for tuning into your Saturday edition of Wasatch Weekends. We love getting to be here all weekend long to bring you some great community information as well as inspire you to try some new recipes. We've got a great show in store for you. Not only are we going to introduce you to one of my favorite nonprofits here in the community, Nuzzles & Co., to maybe help you find your forever friend, we are also going to step into the kitchen and make a delicious breakfast sweet treat. And back to school is right around the corner. It's important that you know what immunizations are out there. And we're going to talk with the Summit County Health Department on that and so much more. But first, let's take a look at that local weather forecast. Welcome back to the show. We had the opportunity to catch up with Dr. Phil Bondurant from the Summit County Health Department to get some information about what you can expect as back to school is right around the corner. Let's hear what he has to say.
Summer is in full swing, and as we continue to enjoy all the fun and outdoor activities in our community, it is also important to continue to stay safe, healthy, and informed. And if you didn't know, the Summit County Health Department has a monthly newsletter with tons of great information and resources. And to give us a little bit of a summary and a couple updates of what we can expect in this month's newsletter, we have joining us the Executive Director of the Summit County Health Department, Dr. Phil Bondurant. Doctor, thank you so much for joining us. Always a pleasure speaking to you.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Lots of things happening in and about the community, but also lots of things happening at the health department with the newsletter, lots of really useful information. So tell me a little bit about what is this newsletter and kind of what can we typically expect?
Yeah, I think appreciate you highlighting that and the efforts of the department here to spread that information with the community. It's a newsletter focused specifically on all the good things that local public health in Summit County is doing. And I would venture a guess that most people that are reading it would be surprised at how involved the Summit County Health Department is as we talk about everything from sustainability and food waste through vaccinations to protecting yourself in the sun and your skin health and all those various things that the local health department is interested in. Absolutely,
and lots of useful information for the entire community to stay informed and to stay healthy, which I think, is kind of the ultimate goal. Now, we all want to be healthy and continue enjoying everything in our community. You mentioned sustainability and kind of the food waste efforts, and I know one of the highlights on this month's newsletter, Doctor, is the Zero Food Waste Compact. Tell me a little bit about that program.
Yeah, that's it's a unique program specific to Summit County, and our sustainability department and our sustainability manager, Emily Quinton, is directly involved in the Park City Community Foundation's focus on the Zero Food Waste Initiative. And just as the title would indicate, it's a program intended to divert food waste from our landfill here in Summit County and put it into different places where the space in the landfill is not being taken up by food. So similar to what you might experience with recycling, it's curbside pickup for food waste, whether it's a business with our restaurants or at the home. We're trying to divert that waste away from the landfill, use it in a capacity that's more environmentally sustainable, and focus that landfill space on those things in which we can't really divert from that space.
Yeah. Absolutely. A very cool program, and I always think we can always improve our sustainability efforts just a little bit, even if that means, recycling a little bit more or participating in the program such as the Zero Waste Compact and kind of divert some of those waste, some of that waste as you mentioned. So I think that's a great opportunity for everybody in the community to practice some more sustainable habits. Now, Doctor, I also know that men's mental health is highlighted in this month's newsletter. It's a very important topic. I believe June was Men's Mental Health Awareness Month, so it's kind of in the topic of that and in light of that. So tell me a little bit about that and why is it such an important topic?
Yeah, mental health as a collective is important for everyone.
Yeah.
We work to improve mental health outcomes through access to care, access to resources for men, women, everyone in Summit County, children as well, the elderly. But it's not very often that you see a campaign focused directly on the mental health of men.
Right.
And our folks in the mental health realm and our professionals there have found that there's a need based on some of the data that are available to us around men's mental health. And I think that it's a unique program in that it's the only one in the state focusing on men's mental health.
Yeah.
But I love the message that is shared by these passionate professionals around mental health. It's not just, if you're not feeling right, go get checked out, but it provides specific information about some of the indicators that might be present in men as it relates to their mental health. And sometimes us as men, we try to tough it out and not be so open with our feelings and the emotions that we might be experiencing, but we still have those emotions. We still have those struggles with our mental health. And just like if you were to break a bone or have another injury, you'd seek professional help to have that health matter addressed. Your mental health is no different. You want to seek professional help to address those things. There's nothing to be embarrassed about. And I think that those that are closest to you, your family, your friends, your loved ones would, if they knew the struggles that were taking place, they would encourage you to seek professional help. And really that's what we're trying to highlight here is that get the help that we need. Let's be healthy. Our mental health, our physical health, all around, we want people to be healthy. And so we're not going to shy away from these sensitive topics.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's stated in the newsletter, Doctor, that men are more likely to seek out physical health, like you said, for physical issues, than to seek out help for emotional or mental health issues, So I think that highlighting the importance of doing so and attending to these issues like you would any other issue to really, promote our health, I think is really important.
Absolutely.
Now, Doctor, I want to kind of switch gears and talk a little bit about vaccines. I know we're still kind of in the summer, but as we start looking into back to school, into the fall time, as we approach flu season, what are some of those updates in terms of vaccinations coming up?
Yeah, as we wrap up the summer, it's hard to believe that summer, we're having a conversation about wrapping up summer, but here we are approaching the end of June, the end of July.
Yes.
School starts in August, and so with that comes back to school vaccinations. The state of Utah does have a list of required vaccinations that students have to be up to date on before they can enter school. So if you're unfamiliar with what those requirements are, or you're unsure as to what your child might be required as they go into a certain grade, I encourage you to contact the health department and speak with one of our nurses in our immunization program at 435-333-1500 and ask to speak about back to school vaccinations. At the busy time of year for us as we're trying to get all the kids healthy and happy, ready, headed into school so they can focus on the good stuff in school and not so much as to being sick, especially with those vaccine preventable childhood diseases.
Absolutely.
The other conversation as we enter the fall and we wrap up summer is around COVID and flu vaccines.
Right.
There's a lot of interest, a lot of discussion right now as we've seen some increase in our wastewater numbers around COVID with new variants that, the CDC has approved the newest version of the vaccine for the fall. We have placed our order at the Summit County Health Department and are on the list. We anticipate receiving that vaccine in early to mid-September, and we'll be making that available to the community when we have it through both in-person appointments, but also leveraging what we did last year with our drive-through clinics. And if 3 locations, one in Camas, one in Colville, and then one in the Park City area where individuals can drive through in the convenience of their vehicle, receive a COVID shot, a flu shot, or both, and be on their way quick, 15 minutes at max. And then you have that protection for the fall and winter as we jump into those seasons where traditionally we've seen higher cases of flu and COVID.
Yeah. Important to stay up to date on those vaccinations, whether it's for your children that are heading back to school or for yourself and your family as we approach flu and COVID season, and more in the fall time, kind of when we tend to see some of those numbers tick up. A couple different options there available through the Summit County Health Department. And as Dr. Phil Bondurant stated, you can always contact them directly at 435-333-1500 for any services, really, Doctor.
Yeah, absolutely. We love to hear from the community. We just revamped our website to make it easier to read, easier to navigate. And so whether you're using the website to get that information or you want to call and talk with one of our wonderful front desk individuals, we're happy to hear from you. We're happy to help you. And if we don't have the answer, we can definitely get you in touch with the people that do.
Absolutely. Dr. Bondurant, if folks are not yet subscribed to this monthly newsletter that contains all of the information we talked about, but also so much more, how can they go about subscribing?
Yeah, just head to that website, summitcountyhealth.org, and you'll see right under the administrative tab, click for the newsletter, enter your email address, and we would be happy to share this information with anyone and everyone once a month as it comes out. The staff do put a lot of time and energy into this to make the information relevant and timely. And we promise if you'll take the time to read it, you'll have a better understanding of what we're focusing on for that time frame and that month as it relates to public health.
Absolutely. And I love on there too those summer tips for swimming and for staying safe in the sun, because it's very relevant, to this time of year, and just ensuring the entire community stays safe as we continue enjoying all the summer activities. So definitely check them out. Subscribe to the newsletter by visiting the website or get contact directly at their phone number for any other health needs. And Doctor, as always, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. We'll see you soon. And we're going to take a short break, but we'll be back with more of the show right after this. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
A classic that we all know and love is a Pop-Tart. But do you know what's in the Pop-Tarts that you buy from the store? Well, we're going to give you the delicious recipe to make Pop-Tarts at home. Let's step into the kitchen.
One of my childhood favorite things growing up we're eating Pop-Tarts. It's brown cinnamon and sugar, strawberry. I loved the frosting, the combo of the baked good and all of the sprinkles they put on top of it. But as an adult, I'm always looking for healthier versions of things that I love, and I found an excellent Pop-Tart Uncrustable protein-powered recipe. So we're going to go ahead and get started. We've got a bunch of different ingredients, but to make the Pop-Tart itself, you can take any bread of your choice. I always try to go with the lower calorie option. We've got sugar-free strawberry jam because we are making a strawberry Pop-Tart. And then we've got some nonstick cooking spray, and I'll show you how to do that, plus egg whites. And this is what we're going to need to go ahead and get started with our Pop-Tarts. So we're just going to generously pour the egg whites into the bowl. And what we're going to be doing with that is it's going to be used as a sealant. It'll help kind of press everything down on our Pop-Tart itself. And we'll go ahead and get started. So you just need to grab 2 slices of bread. And this recipe that I'll tell you a little bit about will make up to about 4, but it really doesn't matter. You don't really need to measure anything out in this. We've got 2 slices of bread. I'll move my bread off to the side here. As you can see, what we're going to be doing is we're going to generously coat the bread into the egg white. So you want to do it on both sides, but we'll do one at a time because we have to do a little bit of work on this bottom half of our toaster. You're thinking, how in the world do you make a Pop-Tart out of bread? Well, I'm going to show you Uncrustables. I know for me, when I'm on the mountain, are one of my go-to snacks. So I love being able to kind of combine the Uncrustable with a Pop-Tart and really make my own version of what I enjoy. Now, you can't go too wrong with the egg whites. So I would say just generously coat that bread. As you can see, we did it here on this side. And then we're going to take our spoon and you're going to press it down in the middle just like that as we continue to press that down, right? So we're taking that down and we're pressing it down and creating a pocket for the strawberry jam that we're going to put into the middle of our Pop-Tart. So that's the first one. Then we'll take this and we'll do just about the same on this piece of toast as well, except this one we don't need to press down. We're just going to do a nice little coating here. You can just put it over the top there. You can press it down if you want to really fill up that Pop-Tart. But again, egg whites, do not be scared to generously coat that piece of bread as we continue to make these Pop-Tarts. So we're just coating it all the way to the edges, and don't worry, we are going to fix the shape. So if you're like, how are you, what are you doing with the crust there? We're going to cut them off, don't you worry. An Uncrustable, it's the best. All right, so we've coated the top and the bottom of our bread. We're going to take our jelly, grab a spoon, And I'd say you'd probably want to do like anywhere from 1 to 2 tablespoons of this jelly. We're just going to drop it into the middle of our piece of bread, the piece that we've already kind of hollowed out. You can spread it around just like that. We'll just spread it around, and it's okay because it is going to get heated up. So if it's not fully spread, that's okay. It'll eventually like soften and melt together. Now I like this recipe because it's not going to be super sweet like a traditional Pop-Tart because we are using the sugar-free jam, but the frosting will give it that added extra that it needs. So then we're going to just put the top of the bread just like this. And you can feel it, you can see that it's very wet on the bottom from all of that egg white. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna coat the outside edges. You can use your thumbs to start pressing it down, just like this. Just press your thumbs all the way around the Pop-Tart so we're starting to seal it together. But the best part and the way to seal it together is to use more of that egg white. So we're just gonna egg white all the way around the edges. You can use your fingers to kind of get it going. You know, relatively speaking, this is a pretty quick treat to make for yourself. You know, it's loaded with protein because of the egg whites and low sugar content because we're using sugar-free jam. Now, to make the Uncrustable and give it those little ridges that a Pop-Tart has, we're taking our fork, we're pressing it along the edges. We're making sure that everything is nice and pressed together. That egg white, again, is going to seal the outside of it. So when we do put it into our air fryer, it's going to be nice and sealed. We're just pressing it down, just like that. Okay, not looking like a Pop-Tart yet, but I promise you it's going to. Now we're going to take a pizza cutter or a knife if you don't have one of these accessible, and you're just going to cut off that excess crust. There we go. And that's where it becomes an Uncrustable. We're going to keep on doing that, and then you just want to cut all of that crust off. So everything should be nice and sealed. Again, just take that fork again and press those edges down just like that. It's okay if it starts to kind of pop up a little bit. I'm going to move my egg white bowl out of the way so you can see what I'm doing over here. I'm just pressing my fork into the edges. Just like that. Now our air fryer, only needs to be in the air fryer for about 3 to 4 minutes, and that's in total. So we'll flip it about halfway through. You want to make sure that your air fryer is set to 400 degrees, and we're just going to do a light coating on top. If you have the nonstick butter spray, that's great, but if you don't, that's okay too. We're going to pop open our air fryer. We're going to take this Uncrustable. Now we're going to be flipping it halfway, so it's very heavy with the egg whites on one side. So we're popping that in there. We're going to go ahead and get started and set it to about, I'm going to set it to 2 minutes for now, and then we'll switch it over and we'll flip it. So we're done with our crust. That's round one. Now we're going to go ahead and get started on making the frosting. I've got lots of egg whites on my fingers here, so I'm going to fix that. We're going to clear a little bit of our workspace up here, just like that. And then I'm going to take a bowl. So with this frosting, this is going to be the fun and interesting piece. We've got Greek yogurt, sugar-free white chocolate jello mix, and then vanilla protein powder. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with all of our dry ingredients first, and we're going to mix those together into this bowl. This is going to create the frosting texture and the flavor palette that we're looking for in this. So you can just take just a little bit of protein powder, and this again, you just kind of play with the consistency that you're looking for. The white chocolate, because this is going to be what makes our toaster or our Pop-Tart delicious. Give it that nice frosting flavor. We're going to rip open the packaging here. And again, we've got mostly of the vanilla protein. I wouldn't say it's equal parts. I'd say it's probably, 2/3 to 1/3 of powder is the 1/3, and then 2/3 to the protein powder here. So we're just going to mix that in just like that. Awesome. It's looking great. Then we're going to take a whisk. We're going to kind of stir it all together. And as we're stirring, it's nice and mixed in. And then we'll add a little bit of this cold water just like that, just to kind of start getting things moving and melting together. So we're just going to add the water, and we're going to stir it. So you can see it's starting to look like a nice frosting consistency there. So again, 2/3 protein powder, 1/3 of the white chocolate mix. And then here's what's going to make it nice and thick. We're going to add some Greek yogurt to it. This again will also increase our protein content on this. So it's a sugar-free protein-packed Pop-Tart, which you probably never thought you'd hear those two things in one sentence, huh? Or three things, I guess. Pop-Tart, sugar-free, and protein-packed. So we're gonna open up our Greek yogurt. Now this is really a consistency, whatever consistency you like. So this is just about enough to add to our Pop-Tart as it's cooking. We're gonna add probably 1 spoonful of Greek yogurt into this just to thicken it up a bit, add a little more protein to it. Just like that. I'll put my spoon here. Of course, I'm using a million different utensils here in the kitchen, but it's just rocking and rolling. So we're gonna stir it all together. You can obviously do a taste test, but if you are, I would recommend using a clean spoon and not sticking it back in there. You look at that, that's gonna be great on top of our Pop-Tart. So I think I am gonna do a little taste test and see. It tastes great. You can taste the white chocolate, a little bit of the vanilla protein powder. So we're gonna check on our Pop-Tart. Now, if you look here, it's nice and golden on the top. So I'm just gonna reach in here and flip it over. It's a little bit toasty, so I'm gonna set it down while I do that. We're gonna flip it over, make sure that there we go, and it's done. I'm gonna use my fork to do this. There we go, because it is hot. Up, and there we go. We're just gonna flip it over. I think I put the wrong side down first. So there we go. We'll fix it. Maybe put the egg side down first in your not down first, but flip it over. Put the egg side down last so that it's got a base to it. But we're toasting it up. It's looking good. And then we're gonna add the frosting to it once it's done. And then we'll add the sprinkles, which I've got. I love a good rainbow sprinkle. And we'll show you the finished product when we are back. And this is finished cooking right after this.
Opportunity to interview great nonprofits here in the community. Well, one of them is Nuzzles & Co., and they help you find your forever friend. And so let's see if they've done that this week.
Welcome back, everyone. It is that time of the week where we get to speak with our friends over at Nuzzles & Co. and to hear their weekly update. And my favorite part, get to meet one of their furry friends. And as always, Josh Stazanoz is joining us with another furry friend, a very adorable puppy there. Josh, welcome. How are you doing?
Terrific. I got puppy love going on this morning.
All the puppy love. I love it. You're very well accompanied there by your furry friend. Tell us a little bit about who this little guy is and a little bit about his story.
This is Pendleton. He's a mixed breed res dog that's 5 months old. He comes from the Navajo Nation, like many of the rescues we have.
Yes.
Actually has kind of an interesting story in that there was a young man who was on his way back to Park City from college, and unfortunately he was in a car accident in Arizona and passed away on the reservation.
Oh, wow.
His mom actually said, can we have people donate to Nuzzles in lieu of flowers and things? And so there was a little over $5,000 raised in memory of this young man named Cooper.
Wow.
And with that money, we actually were able to rescue a litter of dogs. So we rescued 9 animals. And Pendleton is the last one remaining from that litter. So he's kind of the legacy of Cooper Danes living on with money that was donated in his honor. So kind of a special thing here. Yeah. And you can see that he's an amazing dog, just really sweet and loving. Before we jumped on camera here, he was just bounding around my office like a little happy puppy, just playing with toys and eating treats. So like, just a lot of love, and even more special was just bringing the legacy of Cooper to, full circle here.
Yeah, absolutely. A very special story indeed. Josh, as you mentioned, kind of carrying that legacy of Cooper and his wish to raise money, his family's wish to raise money for these puppies, and that you are able to place them in their forever homes. And Pendleton is kind of the last of that legacy, and we hope he's able to find his forever home soon. Josh, is Pendleton ready for adoption? What's his current status? Tell me a little bit about that.
He's very much ready for adoption. We got the litter in a few weeks ago, and the family came and met them. And Cooper's father actually adopted one of the dogs
Oh, nice.
the first day that they were available, which is pretty special too. The rest of the dogs have kind of gone pretty fast actually,
Yes.
and Pendleton was the shy one in the litter.
Yeah.
But now that he's not hanging out with all his siblings, his personality has started to really come out and shine, and he looks really mellow and just like loving right here, which he is.
Yes.
But he's also got that super playful and just that really sweet puppy energy side of him as well. So we're really excited for him to find his home, and that's a nice segue for us to say that today we're going to be at Stio on Main Street,
Yes.
doing an adoption event / snuggle lounge, and Pendleton is one of the guys who should be there with us today, unless he gets adopted before we get there.
Yes. I love that. Well, if anybody back at home is interested in learning more about Pendleton, maybe adopting him, getting to know him, make sure you check out that adoption event later today, or visit the website nuzzlesandco.org, or as always, you can visit the adoption center over at the Park City outlets. Josh, so I love that you guys are always kind of out and about town. You guys are going to be doing that event later today, and then next weekend you guys are also going to be at another really fun event, the Park City Song Summit. So tell me a little bit about that.
I think the Song Summit is a really special organization because they're not just doing music, but they're focused on, wellness activities, songwriting seminars, things of that nature. I mean, historically, rock and roll has not been the most healthy thing for people to be involved with career-wise, and I think it's really special that they're talking about mindfulness and just other ways of taking care of yourself.
Yes.
If you look at modern research, they say holding a puppy or petting a cat or dog for 3 minutes, all your stress hormones start to dissipate, your blood pressure goes down, and you're really engaging in a wellness activity and doing some healthy therapy for yourself.
Yes, I love that, and I can definitely say that's true. Who doesn't love, cuddling with puppies, snuggling puppies, even just through the screen? Whenever I get to interact with you and your furry friends, Josh, it just brings out such a light mood, and it just makes your day better. So I think you're right. I think it's a really beneficial thing for people to come, even if they kind of just want to hang out and snuggle, or if they are interested in maybe adopting. It's a great opportunity as well.
Right. My understanding of the Song Summit too is we're going to be in a section where you don't actually have to have tickets to participate.
Awesome.
So really anybody can just come and cuddle with the dogs. I think the times are listed on the website for the Park City Song Summit, or that will be going up very, very soon.
Yes, I actually do have the times pulled up here, Josh, from the website, and that'll be Saturday, August 17th, 2 to 3 p.m., and then again 4:30 to 6 p.m. So kind of two different time slots there for people to come and snuggle some puppies, maybe snuggle Pendleton.
I mean, I can certainly tell you from my firsthand experience, whenever, here at the ranch, when we get tired of sitting in front of a computer, and I get to go walk a dog or cuddle with a puppy, and it does wonders for reminding us why we do this job and kind of refueling you, but letting that stress melt away and just kind of being an amazing activity that you get to do in the middle of the day. So yeah, what a special way to start a morning, hanging out with Pendleton here and getting some love and giving him some love back.
Yeah. He just looks like the most comfy right now. He's just sitting on your arms, that cute little face. Look at him. He is just chilling. Josh, if people can't make it to either of these events, tell me a little bit about that adoption process, or what other ways people can go about adopting if they are looking to do so.
Sure. On our website, there's a place that's Find a Pet, and you can click on any animal that you're interested in on their picture. It'll bring you to a digital application, and once you fill that out, one of the staff here will contact you and let you know if it's been approved and what the next steps are. Alternatively, you can just come to either the rescue ranch or the adoption center between noon and 5 and meet the animals and if you want to volunteer, you can come volunteer, walk the animals. For cats, it's petting cats or just spending time in the same room as them, just kind of giving them some nurturing and love and showing them what it's like to be around humans. And then there's
Absolutely.
always other stuff like gardening and laundry and other fun stuff.
Yes, lots of opportunities to get involved through nuzzlesandco.org. And if you are looking to adopt, maybe Pendleton will be that perfect addition to your family. So make sure you check out their website or visit them at one of their events. And Josh, thank you so much as always for sharing a little bit about this information and introducing us to Pendleton today.
It's my pleasure. It's always a lovely time to be on and have a chat with you. So thanks so much for having us.
Oh, absolutely. Always a pleasure having you on as well. We are going to take a short break and we'll be back with more of the show right after this. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
We're talking a lot about back to school as it is literally coming in just a few short days. Well, we had the opportunity to chat with a tech and gaming expert about what you have to have this school season. Let's hear what they have to say.
Now, are you guys ready for your back to school experience with the kids? Now you might have your pencils and your notebook and possibly a iPad, but there are so much more items that we need for back to school, especially as we keep up with the times. Hello, Trisha. How are you today?
Hello, I'm well. It's so good to be here. I cannot believe that we're talking back to school already.
I know. It just feels like it just started where they got to get on their break, and now here they are getting all geared up for back to school. And speaking of gear, there's a lot of things that maybe people don't realize that they have to get for their kids to be all in the ready. So let's chat about that.
Let's do it. I mean, back to school schedules and adjusting to new times and getting out the door to school, it affects the whole family. So we need an effortless solution that's a time saver for everyone.
That
The
would be
LG
amazing.
all-in-one is a cordless stick vacuum with auto empty, Power Mop Pro, and dual floor max nozzles. And this is exactly that time saver. It's an all-in-one cleaning system that provides multi-surface convenience with a built-in LED headlight and an adjustable wand length for hands-on cleaning control. Now, it not only looks great in any room, but it automatically empties the dustbin every time you dog. I don't want to touch that, so I'm all about that life. The 5-step system helps to filter dust and dirt, keeping your home clean and fresh, and you can even check on your vacuum's cleaning history and conduct product diagnostics with LG's ThinQ app. It is honestly such a time saver.
Now, for the kids, when they look at something like that, do they get all like, whoa, I'm not touching that, or do they get excited to help with the chores now?
I guess it depends on your kid, but I know my son, he's 7. He loves to watch the new tech at play. Like, he thinks it's fun that we have robots in the house.
I love that. Well, kids like the technology even a little bit more than us adults because they like to jump in and experience all of the fun experiences that it brings to them. Adults were a little bit more matter of fact. So what do the kids do when they get super excited for all of this new technology? I know that you have a lot of interesting things to chat about. So what's your favorite for the children?
I mean, anytime you're talking back to school, I think people really focus on the laptop. The computer is kind of your hub, right? For the kids who are going back to school, regardless what age they are. Like I said, my son, he's in 2nd grade this year, and computers are already a pretty big part of their day. Now, when we're talking back to school laptops and computers this year for 2024, AI is the latest trend. So if you're looking for an AI laptop for back to school, let me suggest the Acer Swift Go 16 laptop. Now, this is powered by Intel Core Ultra processors with Intel AI Boost. So using AI, audio and video enhancements, and a high-res QHD webcam, face framing, and background noise reduction all improve video calls and online classes. It's got a large 16-inch display, which is great for streaming, and for a boost in productivity, it's even touch-enabled. Plus, there's a designated Microsoft Copilot key on the keyboard for quick access to generative AI when you need it. It's got up to 20 hours of video playback and a thin light design that's under 4 pounds. Now, if you want to look a little bit deeper at this one, it's available at acer.com and Amazon starting at $829.99. And I would recommend this for maybe the middle school to college age kids for this one.
I was going to say, I couldn't imagine if I was in grade school and I had an $800 computer on me, what would happen to that $800 computer? It's very expensive, but for the kids that are a little bit older and they'll take great care of it, that's fine. Let me ask you a question, because a lot of people are on the fence about AI, okay? We're not sure if it's doing the thinking for us and taking the images for us. Can you give us a little bit of a rundown as to why AI is so important for the future of our kids?
Yeah, so I mean, how I would think about it is like any other new technology. It's a tool. So it's not taking over for you or for anyone. You still need to watch it and you're still in full control. But having AI in your laptop can do things for you, like, you know, like I mentioned, face framing on an audio call, background audio reduction. It's kind of like your little assistant working in the background.
Okay.
Then it can also do things like like generate text or images if you want to generate something quickly to help you discuss a point in a PowerPoint presentation or something like that. So it's really more of a helper than any kind of replacement, at least where that technology is right now.
Right, because there's a lot of confusion about it, and I just want to make sure that everybody has the idea, because it's not giving the kids an edge or anything like that. It's still, they still have to work just as hard and they still have to concentrate just as much. It's just a tool for maybe if we're not super great at, like you said, like here, I'm perfectly framed for the Zoom call, but I have somebody that helped me with that. Yes, that's right.
Exactly, it's your little helper.
I think it's wonderful. Now, what do you expect with the amount of kids that we have going back to school? What is the ratio of kids that will be able to obtain something like this? And is there any way that kids that don't have the means to get a computer of such a cost, what can they do to keep up with the times?
I mean, what I will say is different school systems have different, I guess, access to technology in place. But this is something we're going to see more and more in the computers that are handed out at school, if your school has loaner laptops, that kind of thing. But again, it's just a tool that really needs to be watched. So I wouldn't say it's giving anyone an edge necessarily for other students in terms of, you know, the final product that you turn in. It's just making workflows a bit more efficient.
I understand that, and that's really wonderful, and I can't thank you enough for being here. You are a tech and gaming expert. I think that's pretty magnificent. Tricia Hirschberger, thank you so much for being here with us and giving us some great tips on back-to-school items, as well as keeping your house in order with the kids involved as well.
Absolutely, it's so important. And for more information on anything I've discussed today, or even some fun STEM toys to get the whole family excited about learning, you can go to dailylounge.com.
We love having the opportunity to highlight some incredible artists that we get to see throughout our community, and we're going to do just that with a very special artist spotlight.
My name's Devon, and I come from a line of pop artists that can be traced all the way back to Andy Warhol. I'm the guy that's kind of carrying the torch from that tradition into the 21st century. What inspires me is nostalgia, and just remembering anything from the past makes us feel good, warms our soul. And so I want to leverage familiarity with people. The artwork that I'm doing today is very similar to the way pop art started. I still fundamentally work in the principles of, sourcing my content from pop culture. So there's photographs and there's comics and there's still, advertising and mass media, that kind of a thing. But what I do is I add a few more layers than they did. As a result of being maybe 60 years on, there's a lot of things that have happened between now and then. And so I feel like I want to capture that too. And so I represent the time gap in different layers in my artwork, almost in the way that you would see layers in geology, because there's different seasons and years that have passed. And so you can see little relics of the past. There's a lot of layers in our own psychology that I'm capturing as well. I'm trying to take a flashlight, if you will, and poke it through a tip of an iceberg, and let's call that pop culture. The landscape of pop culture is where I start with a little flashlight and illuminate some of the psychological layers below. I try to explore what it is about pop culture that is captivating our attention in the first place. There's this thing called the collective unconscious, so many people can relate to a lot of these things, and yet each of these people come away with maybe a little bit different interpretation, which is what I call the personal unconscious. So I put little story elements in there, and I'm always surprised at what other people take away as the meaning from it. Most songs and literature and art all kind of have this thread, in general, the hero's journey. A lot of these things bring comfort just in general to see because they've grown up with it or loved it, or they aspire to be that person, which is really what the hero's journey is about. Is really, we want to be the hero of our own lives. I want to be the hero in my story, you know, don't you? And so if someone is inspired, I certainly am inspired in working with all of these different stories and this content. And if at the end of the day you're inspired by it, that's my goal, is the inspiration behind it. And I'm trying to make it fun. It's that, you know, it's like, I love switching it up. Some people think, oh, this is fresh and new. And then I'm like, but it isn't. I mean, and it is at the same time. It's like this, I'm still working in this tradition of artists from the past, and yet I'm putting a modern twist on it. But really, I'm just leveraging the past. And maybe through my body of work, you can sort of see, you know, a wider scope of the whole thing. But really, the core is this hero's journey.
Thank you so much for tuning into your Saturday edition of Wasatch Weekends. I don't know about you, but I'm definitely inspired to make some homemade Pop-Tarts to cut all of those not so healthy ingredients out and put those delicious healthy ingredients in. So we hope you do so as well. With back to school right around the corner, we love getting to bring you all of this wonderful community information and what you can expect. Make sure that you tune in tomorrow for your Sunday edition of Wasatch Weekends. I've been your host, Maddie Evans, and I'll see you there.